We're over on Doomberg. Quote, Tesla owners have soured on Elon Musk, some of them anyway, but still love their Model 3s. What a surprise. 5 years after Tesla built the world's first electric car for the masses, the Model 3, Doomberg rebooted a survey of 5,000 owners to ask how things held up. Tesla joined the ranks of grown-up automakers 5 years ago this month by cranking up production of its Model 3 electric car to more than 5,000 cars a week. It was a breakthrough for Tesla and the start of a new phase for the car industry. I think we just became a real car company. Then CEO, current techno king of Tesla, Elon Musk wrote to his employees at the time. Soon after, Doomberg set out to determine whether those first mass-produced EVs lived up to the hype. More than 7,000 verified Model 3 owners completed our comprehensive survey of the vehicle and the experience of owning one. One key takeaway was unequivocal. Tesla had created an internal combustion killer. Owners credited Musk for pulling off the impossible. Since then, a lot has changed. Tesla is now far and away the world's most valuable automaker, and Musk its richest inhabitant and provocateur. Bloomberg reconnected with thousands of the original survey responders, who together have put 100 million miles on their Teslas to see how the first class of high-volume EVs holds up. Once again, a single survey result stood out. This time, it had to do with the man rather than the automobile. Of all topics covered in both 2019 and 2023, sentiment on the CEO dropped most. Loving the car, hating the tweets. Tesla's most ardent early adopters have, to a significant extent, soured on the boss. Out of dozens of questions repeated verbatim from our 2019 survey, the steepest change of opinion was the drop in Musk's approval. Ah yes, approval. Something that I personally desperately need. Please approve of me. I'm sure Elon Musk feels the same. What could either of us possibly do without your approval? In total, the follow-up survey posed more than 130 questions. The lowest scores went to Musk's 2022 acquisition of Twitter, which he renamed X, and to the divisive tweets that followed. The survey comments were intense, and many felt conflicted. Model 3 owners still overwhelmingly love their cars. Isn't that interesting? Despite Elon Musk having and sharing opinions, Tesla's products are still incredible, and had a lot to say about Tesla's technology. Most owners plan to stick with the brand. Again, products so good they sell themselves, even if Elon has an opinion that might hurt your butt. But they also reported feeling a sense of betrayal as Musk picked political fights online, downplayed potential consequences of climate change, and backed controversial figures and ideas. Oh, this is a great quote here. Quote, I love the vehicles, but do not want to support someone who has such vitriol and low opinion of the very people who have made Tesla a success. It sounds like an NPC here. Does anyone have any ideas exactly what people is this person referring to that Elon has such vitriol and low opinion of? I know. This is an NPC. They don't know why they believe what they believe. This belief has just been installed into their tiny brain. Elon bad. Elon doesn't like you. Hate Elon. I get it if somebody says Elon has opinions I don't agree with, but this quote says Elon has vitriol and low opinion of the very people who have made Tesla a success. What? To put this in terms many Tesla owners will relate to, respondents rated Musk lower than they did Tesla's infamously unavailable customer service phone line. Have Elon Musk's recent public statements harmed or improved Tesla's reputation? Small percentage saying greatly improved/improved, loads of people neutral, and even more people greatly harmed/harmed. Imagine that. The more opinions one shares, the more people will get butthurt because they don't agree with all of your opinions. Isn't that interesting? Option A, share no opinions, offend no people. Option B, share opinions. The more opinions you share, the more people will be offended and or disagree. I've personally experienced this exact thing on this YouTube channel from day one. I read all the comments, I still do, and I have from the very beginning of this channel. Every time I've shared an opinion on a new topic, there's a small percentage of people who lose their fucking minds. That's it, unsubscribe, fuck you, I knew it. You're a hateful, bigot, misogynist. See you later, don't care. It's important to understand there are some people, myself included, Elon Musk also included, who believe expressing our opinions is fundamental, irrespective of the consequences. In fact, in my personal case, I actually genuinely believe that anything short of sharing your opinions on things that matter, if it's irrelevant, doesn't matter, whatever, but if it matters to you and you fail to share your opinion, you are best described as a poussoir. When the Model 3 first arrived, it had its own flaws. As an experiment in creating a new type of car, Tesla pursued novel approaches to service, charging, and software updates. Panel gaps, end of the world, and other minor issues became a point of fixation for Tesla's critics, who believed a lack of automotive experience would inhibit the company from ever excelling in the nuts and bolts of making cars by the millions. Now, Tesla is a force in high-volume global manufacturing. The Model 3 has undergone countless improvements, and preparations are underway for a significant refresh. But the first adopters still love the original, When asked to compare their vehicle today to previous ones they've owned or driven, the level of satisfaction they reported leaves little room for improvement. The electric car that changed the world. The earliest adopters of the Model 3 compare their experience with previous cars they've owned. The colour coding helps here a lot. Dark blue and light blue satisfied to varying degrees, grey, neutral, and dissatisfied in red. Just visually look on screen now. It's a wall of fucking blue. Of course, some percentage of humans are always going to find things to complain about. The near universal praise for the Model 3 makes the owner's criticisms of Musk all the more stark. Much of the souring has to do with his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter, the social media service Musk uses obsessively. In the lead up to Tesla's production breakthrough in 2018, Musk could sometimes be found slumped on the floor of his office between meetings, doom-scrolling tweeted predictions of his failure as they came precariously close to coming true, according to interviews with his colleagues from that time. Quote, "I have made the mistaken assumption," he said in an interview with Doomberg in 2018, "of thinking that because somebody is on Twitter and is attacking me, that it is open season. That is my mistake. I will correct it." Musk didn't end up following through on that pledge back then. He called the platform Meme Warland. Now he owns the battlefield. Musk's Twitter problem. Tesla owners dislike the very online CEO's persona. This time, blues are disagrees, grey neutral, and reds agree. Elon Musk should stop tweeting. Give or take roughly half of people seeming to agree here. Now, make sure your butt's ready for this one. I have an opinion, which I'm about to share. My opinion is that we, as human beings, should encourage other human beings to freely share their thoughts, their opinions, and their ideas. We should not discourage people from doing this. In fact, I think the discouragement of people from sharing their thoughts and opinions is a very slippery slope and extremely dangerous. Of course, I don't know what I'm talking about, and it's definitely not like in the past there's ever been situations in which many humans believed what was happening was wrong, but too scared to speak up. They'd been discouraged from sharing their controversial opinion, and worse still, they'd been manipulated into thinking they were the only person with that opinion. Because no one else was willing to share their opinion, they were too scared to. There may in fact even have been some situations in which the majority of people had one opinion, but thought everyone else had a different opinion, and therefore they were too scared to share their opinion because they thought they'd be an outlier, when in fact just about everyone thought the same thing. But don't worry, in a situation like that, nothing could possibly go wrong. Elon Musk should stay out of politics. More than half of people agree. Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter has been a distraction from his responsibilities at Tesla. Even more people agree. Yet miraculously, Tesla continues to execute. Their lead continues to accelerate. They remain in a dominant position, scaling as fast as possible. I'm kind of curious to know, what would Tesla have done differently in the last year had Elon Musk not acquired Twitter? What would have been different? Please let me know in the comments below. What would have been different? Musk holds an unusual degree of sway over Tesla customers. In our 2019 survey, more than half of Model 3 buyers said their opinion of Musk influenced their purchase. Now, this is kind of weird. Actually, really weird. I'm not sure how reliable these survey results are. I mean, let's be honest here. It's true. I personally believe there are a number of outliers, a very small minority of people, who will preferentially purchase something, often to signal virtue to others around them, not because it makes sense, it's the best value proposition, etc., but to make a point or a statement. But I think in most cases, most consumers are just thinking, is this product great? Is it great value? Okay, I'll buy it. The end. To what extent do you believe that Elon Musk's recent public statements align with Tesla's mission? You guys can see the results to this question on screen now, but I just have a question. Unless Elon Musk exclusively tweets about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, would it not follow that obviously the majority of things he's sharing, the opinions he's sharing, the tweets he's making, don't align with the mission? It's a bizarre question. Elon discusses a lot of things on a lot of topics. He runs a lot of companies. Obviously, it follows, just logically, that the majority of things he's discussing have nothing to do with Tesla, so by default, they're not going to align with Tesla's mission. One thing that hasn't changed much since 2019 is Model 3 owners' convictions about never wanting another gasoline-powered car. Among owners who are planning to buy a new vehicle for their household in the next few years, 96% of the options under consideration were electric. Opinions of Tesla, the company, have slipped from the extreme levels of support in 2019, but remain high. The sense of community between owners has fallen too, which might be inevitable as the car maker grows, obviously. I mean, there was a period of time, not that long ago, a few years ago, where literally everyone in a Tesla would see somebody else in a Tesla and wave. It's like, hey bro, look, you're in a Tesla too. Look, we're cool. Now if you wave at somebody in a Tesla, they're just going to go, the fuck is that? What a weirdo. At the time of the previous survey, some owners reported that they would always give... Oh, shit. Oh, man, I should have read this before I reacted to it. That's literally exactly what I just said. A shift in the Tesla community. A bit of the early adopter buzz has worn off. After owning a Tesla, I'll never buy another gas-powered car. Just about everybody agrees with this statement. My opinion of Tesla is positive. just about everyone agrees with this statement. And look, there's a tiny irrelevant speck over here, as I've mentioned previously, a change between 2019 and 2023 where slightly more people don't have a positive perception of Tesla. Is it possible that Elon Musk shared a few opinions that some of these people didn't like, such as sterilizing children and mutilating children's genitals is a bad thing to do? Of course, that's got nothing to do with anything. Why would I even say that? I feel a sense of community with other Tesla owners. As expected, it's been a decline in this from 2019 to 2023 as the company scales. This is inevitable. Views about Musk are worse among people who follow his public statements closely, and worse still among Democrats. Surprise, surprise. For Americans who voted for Donald Trump in the 2020 election, opinions of Musk flipped with a favorability rating of 4.44 versus 2.59 from Biden voters. Even Trump voters, though, were unenthused about the Twitter takeover. By the way, I do just want to share some insight here. There are people on the political left and the right and in the centre who are absolutely f***ing insane. To illustrate this point, throughout the scamdemic, I was quite interested to see some of the absolute madness that was happening and how political entire issues became about fascist shutdowns, masks, mandatory medical interventions and so on. And some of the super, and I mean super, disturbing things that I saw. Oh, I have receipts, motherfuckers. Don't you try to tell me this didn't happen. January 13th, 2022. We're going to skip ahead. If you want to pause and read the whole thing, go for it. I don't want to say these words too often because I'm probably going to get a little information bubble pop up under this video. Fuck you, YouTube. Oh, speaking of YouTube, those motherfuckers were part of the problem. Censoring people, sharing opinions and facts that didn't agree with the one true narrative. A new Heartland Institute and Rasmussen Reports national telephone and online survey finds that 48% of voters favour President the Big Guy's plan to impose forced medical interventions on the employees of large companies and government agencies. That includes 33% who strongly favour this mandate. And again, these are all respondents of the survey. It doesn't matter where they are on the political spectrum. The point here, there are some people who can often have very strong opinions about things that are absolutely fucking insane. Oh, by the way, some of you guys and girls are still living in La La Land.
What's wrong with that, Stephen? I don't understand. Keeping everyone safe. My grandmother might have died.
It is time to wake up. If any of you are still living in denial here, I highly encourage you, just jump onto YouTube. Type Dr. John Campbell, 1 in 35. You won't do it. You should, but you won't. 48% opposed the big guy's mandates, including 40% who strongly opposed them. Great. So far, so good. The even split among voters is the result of deep partisan divisions. That's right. While 78% of Democrat voters support the big guy's forced medical interventions, only 22% of Republicans and 41% of voters not affiliated with either major party support the forced medical interventions. Given this information, one might wonder to themselves, is it possible that certain people, for whatever reason, of a certain political persuasion are more likely to support and believe certain things and more likely to not support and denounce other things? Many Democrats would support even harsher measures, including fines for Americans who won't accept the forced medical intervention and even criminal punishment for people criticizing the forced medical intervention. 59% of Democratic voters would favor a government policy requiring that citizens remain confined to their homes at all times except for emergencies if they refuse to accept a forced medical intervention. PS 1 in 35. Such a proposal is opposed by 61% of likely voters. Imagine 59% of voters of one political party being in favour of confining people to their homes should they be uncomfortable for whatever reason to accept a forced medical intervention. Nearly half of Democratic voters think federal and state governments should be able to fine or imprison individuals who publicly question the efficacy of the existing forced medical interventions on social media. By the way, 1 in 35, television, radio, or in online or digital publications. Now, at this point, I'd just like to say, given that 48% of polled Democratic voters were in support of a government fining and or imprisoning individuals who publicly questioned the efficacy of these forced medical interventions, PS 1 in 35, it somewhat makes sense. I mean, personally, I think these people are absolutely fucking insane. That some of these people may have some very strong opinions about big bad Elon Musk sharing his opinions on topics that they don't like. Given what I would describe as an insanely high percentage of dangerously stupid morons who would literally support fining and or imprisoning people for asking questions, legitimate questions, PS 1 in 35, I'm not particularly surprised that there's a portion of people out there who don't like Elon Musk sharing opinions, especially opinions that go against the one true narrative. 45% of Democrats would favour governments requiring citizens to temporarily live in designated facilities, aka quarantine camps, if they refuse to get a forced medical intervention, PS 1 in 35. Such a policy would be opposed by a strong majority of all voters, with 78% of Republicans and 64% of unaffiliated voters saying they would strongly oppose putting the people who refused a forced medical procedure in, quote, designated facilities, aka quarantine camps. How far are Democrats willing to go in punishing those who refuse this forced medical intervention, PS 1 in 35? 29% would support temporarily removing parents' custody of their children if parents refuse to accept this forced medical intervention, PS 1 in 35. I think I've made my point. You got 29% of people of a certain political persuasion supporting taking children away from parents who said, hang on a minute, don't force that on me. Let me make my own decision, please. And this video is getting rather meta, I know, by sharing these opinions and some facts as well. I mean, I didn't conduct the poll. I'm just reporting on the results. There are many people who can get butthurt and mad and unsubscribe from this channel again, which I, 1, acknowledge, 2, accept, and 3, I would just like to say, please don't let the door hit you on the way out. Now, the reason I mention this is just to emphasize it doesn't matter how you are politically. On some issues, some percent of people will have what I personally consider batshit insane opinions. A lot of these folks are NPCs, whether on the left or the right. But as it relates to this particular video, if you were to poll a lot of Democrat voters in the United States today, is it okay to permanently sterilize children? Is it okay to mutilate the genitals of children? Once again, you'll find a disturbingly high number of people go, yeah, that's totally fine, yeah. Affirm, nothing could go wrong. They can't vote, they can't buy alcohol, they can't do anything. They're not a consenting adult, but it's okay if you want to sterilize them permanently or cut off their genitals. Nothing could possibly go wrong. So the fact that Elon Musk has spoken out on a few topics such as, hey guys, sterilizing children, not cool. Mutilating the genitals of children, not cool. Fascist shutdowns over a flu, not cool. The fact that this has caused a few people who have certain political persuasions, who gobble up everything they hear in the mainstream media, should not surprise a single person. I saw the exact same shit happen on this YouTube channel. In early 2020, when I publicly and ferociously denounced lockdowns and talked about the knock-on effects, financial, emotional, the suicides, the drug addiction, domestic violence, all this kind of stuff, a bunch of people immediately,
Fuck you, unsubscribe, you're a you want my grandmother to die, I hope you die, fuck you, never watching this channel again, you're a bad person.
So I totally get it. Now to be clear, I'm politically right down the fucking center. I skew libertarian, but I'm absolutely down the middle. As you guys can see on screen now, in 2020, early 2020, I did a political compass test. Smack bang down the middle. Look, on screen. 3 years later, I do a follow-up, do the same exact quiz again. Guess what? Almost identical results. However, becoming a little bit less libertarian in my old age. For some strange reason, there's a subset of people who watch this channel, actually, they've all unsubscribed because they got butthurt over an opinion, who call me right-wing or far-right or extreme far-right. I think far-right is code for anyone who disagrees with any of my opinions these days. And the reason I mention this is because the exact same thing is happening to Elon Musk. Elon Musk had an opinion. I disagree with it. Elon's far right. Elon should stop getting so political. Elon, stop with your tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist far right propaganda and hate speech. You Nazi enabling, bigoted, transphobe, etc. ism-ist, all the words and things. The point I make here, anyone who shares any opinions on anything at all is going to find that some percentage of people will disagree with their opinions. And it just so happens that Elon Musk is pushing back against a lot of insanity right now, and has been, like, social media companies colluding with government, censoring legitimate information, stifling discussion, that whole laptop thing, that kind of shit. If you dare to mention this, if you dare to discuss this and share these opinions, some percentage of people are going to get mad. Yet despite that, Tesla continues, remains in a dominant position, selling every vehicle they make. It's almost as if the very loud vocal minority of people who are so enraged about Elon Musk having an opinion, they'll never buy a Tesla again, don't matter. To what extent do Elon Musk's recent public statements reflect your values? Eyeballing this, roughly half of people, to a great extent, somewhat or neutral, and roughly half of people not at all or very little. Most Model 3 owners said Musk's public statements have damaged the brand and impeded Tesla's mission, which is why they're now suddenly struggling to sell all the vehicles they make, right? Oh wait, that's not true. Interesting. His once fervent supporters were split over whether he remains a positive role model for other business leaders. Now this is interesting. Do you believe that Elon Musk is a positive or negative role model for other business leaders? It's a very even split. Very positive/positive and very negative/negative. Almost identical. And there's a marginal difference, but in general, this is quite interesting, isn't it? Now, call me crazy. It's probably true. But my personal belief is that being a human comes first. Being a business leader comes second. In other words, there is nothing I respect less than a, quote, business leader who's a gigantic vagina who won't share any opinions on anything at all if it may be perceived negatively by the public.
Well, don't say that. Somebody might get butthurt and offended.
This is utter cowardice. I don't know how these people sleep at night. Again, going back to the issue of sterilizing children and mutilating their genitals, most business leaders right now won't share a fucking opinion on this, or worse, yeah, that's totally fine, huh? Because they believe that's what the public wants to hear. It is unconscionable to me that people with a platform on these topics who privately know it's absolutely insane won't say anything about it because they're scared, or we might lose a customer or two. I just don't know how they sleep at night. And to be clear, I always respect people who will share their opinions. There are many folks who I vehemently disagree with on most things, but I respect them because they're willing to share their opinions instead of self-censor. Some owners said he's still the right person for the job, even if X has been a significant distraction for him and Tesla. Musk performance review. World's wealthiest CEO gets middling grades. Elon Musk is the right person to be leading Tesla right now. Majority of people agree. I trust Elon Musk to make the right decisions for his companies. The majority of people agree. Elon Musk's ownership of Twitter is a positive development. Very few people agree. Now, this again, I find curious. As I said earlier, I think being a human, humanity comes first. Call me crazy. The fact that Twitter and other social media companies colluded with the US government, FBI, censored extremely critical information to the American public right before a presidential election, banning scientists, medical doctors for sharing concerns about this, that, and the other thing during the recent scamdemic. It's no stretch to say that those could have been the last whimpers of humanity. Things were headed in a very, very dire direction. I was losing sleep about this stuff. I've been calling this shit out since way before the Elon Musk Twitter acquisition. Go fact check me. Look at some of my Patreon Q&As. If, as opposed to being a human first, you're a Tesla stock investor first and a member of humanity second, then I can understand. You might think, oh, this is negative, he's distracted. But if you have a long time perspective and you understand what's going on here, people were unable to freely share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. This had to be done. Have Elon Musk's recent public statements lowered or raised your opinion of him? Greatly improved/improved, a few, neutral, quite a lot, greatly lowered/lowered, even more. Now, once again, let's play a game. Let's just imagine, hypothetically, I'd only ever shared my opinions about Tesla. Very difficult for me to offend too many people if I'm just talking Tesla, right? But as soon as I stray to any other topics, suddenly there's going to be people that disagree with me on these things. And many of these people, as a result of that, they will have a lowered opinion of me. However, despite knowing this, I continue to have a pair of testicles, and despite the known consequences, I will happily share my opinions on every subject that matters to me. I'll call out corruption, collusion, dishonesty, deception, manipulation, crimes, and every time I share an opinion on anything new, there's going to be a subset of people who now disapprove of me because I shared an opinion. This is par for the course. The only way to avoid this is to not share opinions on anything. But it's just not in me. It's just not in Elon either. If it matters, it must be said. The end. So naturally, there will be a subset of people, as soon as they hear opinion, oh, that motherfucker, I thought he was great, but as soon as he had that opinion, this guy, I hate him now. What a terrible person. A lot of these folks are NPCs, not going to lie. Still easily manipulated by the hate stream media, the propaganda machine, or surrounded by people who think exactly the same way they do, living in echo chambers, assuming everyone agrees, and if they don't, they must be a bad person. Does anyone recall a little while ago on Twitter where I pointed out that the only way the conflict between Russia and Ukraine would end would either be World War III or negotiated peace? And everyone said, you're a fucking Putin apologist, you love Putin, fuck you. Right? The rage that I saw on this particular topic recently, again, I could have stayed quiet. I knew a lot of people would say shit like this, but I couldn't stay quiet. That statement was accurate. It still remains true to this day. The only way this ends is World War III or negotiated peace. And in the meantime, the bodies continue to unnecessarily pile up. I do want to emphasize something. Elon is not dumb. Elon knows full well that in sharing his opinions on topics, especially controversial topics, there'll be a subset of people who won't be happy, who will disagree, who will disapprove. A lot of people, I don't want to be too condescending here, but a lot of people are so dim that they don't actually realize this. They think, Elon, you're so dumb. Don't you understand? If you share this opinion, some people will disagree. You should have just not said anything. Elon knows he's not an idiot. However, it matters too much to him to stay quiet. I can relate. For the most part, owners say their disapproval of Musk won't affect their buying decisions. Oh, fancy that. Tesla products are great, except for the very vocal minority of people who are so desperate for the approval of others They need to signal virtue to the point where they're going to rage on Twitter or other social media.
I bought a Tesla, but Elon had an opinion I don't like. Fuck you. I'm never buying a Tesla again. Please approve of me, please.
Apart from those small minority of people, honestly, Elon's opinions aren't a big deal. The Model Y SUV is on pace to become the best-selling vehicle in the world of any type this year. But a notable minority say they're done with Tesla, potentially costing the company not only repeat business, but also the patronage of virtue signaling NPC drones. But also some of the word-of-mouth goodwill that helped establish the brand. Model 3 owners who sold off their Teslas in the last few years cited disapproval of the CEO as the most frequent motivation. Why some Tesla owners walk away? Top reasons given by Model 3 owners who sold their cars and replaced them with another brand. Disapproval of Elon Musk, approximately 1 in 5. Concerns about quality or service, almost 1 in 5. Unhappy with Tesla's brand perception. Can you imagine being that pathetic? And I do mean pathetic, just want to make sure that people get this. Pathetic. That one of the reasons that you would sell a vehicle is because you are unhappy with how people perceive the brand of the vehicle you are driving.
Oh, people might not approve of me if they see me driving in this vehicle. What will I do if they don't approve of me? I better sell this vehicle.
Utterly pathetic. Of course, these are the same kind of people who may have been pressuring you quite strongly a couple of years ago to do things that you didn't want to do, just so you would be approved of by people like them, because in their world, the approval of others is mandatory. Therefore, you need to do this so you're approved of by me, because you think like I do, and therefore, if I'm not approved of, I couldn't live with myself, so obviously this reasoning will work on you too. Maybe Musk has made the calculation that a shift in sentiment among Republicans will offset any rise in No, he hasn't, you fucking idiots. There's nothing calculated about Elon sharing his opinions on things that matter to him. He's simply sharing his opinions on things that matter to him. Whatever the case, there's probably never been an automotive CEO whose personal brand was so closely entwined with vehicle demand. Are you kidding, bro? This is hilarious. I'm tempted to bring up Tesla's cumulative vehicle sales on a chart, that beautiful exponential curve, and just go, please show me on the chart exactly where it was that Elon Musk's opinions started to affect demand for Tesla vehicles. This Bloomberg article itself has contradicted itself. Tesla owners still love their vehicles, and except for an extremely vocal minority of virtue signaling drones who desperately need the approval of other people that live in their echo chamber, no one gives a what Elon's opinions are as it relates to whether or not they're going to buy a Tesla vehicle. The very few people who do don't matter. They're irrelevant specs. Quote, I'd prefer he not be so tied to the image of Tesla. I don't want my car to be an Elon Musk conversation starter, said an NPC drone. Cybertruck interest tops the charts, despite Elon Musk having opinions. Imagine that. We asked Model 3 owners looking to buy another vehicle in the next 2 years which cars they're considering. Tesla models dominated the results, taking up the top 6 choices. So apparently Elon Musk having opinions hasn't caused major issues with Tesla demand for future vehicles. Isn't that interesting? Perhaps the biggest surprise was just how much Tesla's upcoming Cybertruck dominated the list. More owners were actively considering a Cybertruck than the next 5 choices combined. What car will you buy next? Nearly 75% of Model 3 owners planning for a new car in the next 2 years are considering another Tesla. Here are their top picks. Cybertruck, about half. Model Y, about a quarter. And then a mix of everything else. Shoppers were also taking a close look at Rivian, whose R1S SUV and R1T pickup were the top 2 models among alternative brands. The Irvine, California-based automaker's production has surged this year. The preference for American pickups is partly explained by the survey's demographics, with approximately 7% of respondents coming from the US. So of the other vehicles under consideration, roughly 1/3 considering the R1S. One reason so many owners remain loyal to the Tesla brand despite harboring strong misgivings about the CEO is that they simply love their cars. No shit, Sherlock. This is the too long didn't watch of the entire video. The very loud, noisy minority who boycotted Tesla just because Elon Musk had an opinion they don't like don't matter. They're so irrelevant, they literally don't matter. Which may be why they want to signal virtue to people so loud, but let's not go there. The Model 3 is enjoyable to drive. Strongly agree. Just about everyone. I think this sums everything up perfectly. Despite Elon Musk having opinions and counter-punching when he's attacked by corrupt politicians, Model 3 owners are overwhelmingly satisfied with their vehicle. Imagine that. A CEO sharing opinions, ostracizing a very small percentage of customers, yet still, overwhelmingly, just about everyone who buys a Tesla Model 3 loves it. And as I've said many times in the past and will continue to say, Elon's going to Elon, whether or not you like it. No amount of pressure, and I mean no amount of pressure, will prevent Elon Musk from sharing his opinions on things that matter. He has balls, and he uses them. Unlike the majority of people out there who are too scared
Oh, that's a bit controversial. I better not share my opinion on that. I'll just stay quiet.
The man has my respect. And remember, the vast majority of people you hear out there, Elon bad, this, that and the other, represent a very vocal minority of people whose number one goal in life is to have the approval of their fellow human beings. These people are pathetic and dangerous cowards and, in the scheme of things, entirely irrelevant. This is probably not a reasonable opinion to hold, but there's something in my nature, in my core, that prevents me from staying quiet. When there's something important to me, a topic or an issue, I will not be silenced. I will share my opinion, full well knowing the consequences. And I personally think that we should respect people for doing this rather than denounce them. Even if we disagree with their opinions, like I said, I will always respect somebody who freely shares their thoughts, opinions, and ideas on things that matter to them, even when I disagree. In fact, especially when I disagree. But I will never respect somebody who self-censors and silences themselves when something matters to them, but they're too scared to share their opinion because they may be perceived negatively by a certain portion of humanity. These people, in my mind, are pathetic cowards, deserving of zero respect. And while this probably is not a reasonable opinion, it is my opinion. Grow a pair. What's the worst that could happen? Somebody might disapprove of you because you have an opinion and you shared it. Oh no, it's the end of the world. Speaking of opinions and sharing them, if you'd like to significantly lower your approval rating of me, I highly encourage you to join Patreon and browse through the archive of nearly 350 exclusive videos in which I am absolutely bound to offend you on multiple occasions, say things you absolutely disagree with, and perhaps even have a few opinions that a few years from now you'll look back on and go, you know what? I actually think that he may have had a point. If you think you can handle it, click the link in the pinned comment to join Patreon. Oh, and by the way, plenty of exclusive content and a lot of hot takes available to my Twitter/X subscribers as well. And please let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on people sharing their opinions on things that matter to them, as opposed to failing to share those opinions for fear of being judged or disapproved of by a certain percentage of people? Have I ever shared an opinion that you disagreed with? Even better yet, have I ever shared an opinion that you disagreed with and have subsequently changed your mind about? Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going,
What do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect.
Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 shit, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments.
Oh my god, snake oil salmon sold out. Oh my god, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But
constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon. And don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.